We have entered into another year as crypto investors, and everyone has only one question: are we going up or are we going down? But before we detail that, Happy New Year to all of the scientific investor family. Guys, we really have entered into a new year, but if you directly go into a particular asset and say this is going down, you may be wrong, because the market is slowly picking up. You look at the volume, we are increasing it on a regular basis. And if you see this, there are coins which are doing well, certainly well in the last 24 hours. Say these are in first hundreds, right? Those who are doing well, from Cosmos or Atom all the way to SafeMoon. Say you have XYM, Harmony One, Curve, and others doing well. Then you go to the next hundreds, and you're like, okay, you're moving from that large cap to medium cap towards the small micro cap like that, but you do see coins popping, right? So that is why technicals are really important. Now, if you agree that technical give you an opportunity to understand what the charts are showing you, what the possibility can be. Now, no one knows this for sure, right? We try to look at this, right? Say, for example, just we are seeing here Syscoin. Fine. So if you look at this particular chart, this was back in November 16 in my Patreon, where I was saying Sys is now becoming an opportunity. If you want to buy, you can look at these ranges, blah, blah, blah. So this was the price at that point, 0.479. Right now, if you go look at that, the price is 1.2 and still moving higher with momentum. So you're already 3x. You're going higher. So in this market, if you are in the first quarter, you're going to see a lot of small to medium cap assets doing 3 to 5x. Now, there would be another set, which is like, small to micro cap coins. You're going to see them doing 10, 15x. You are definitely going to see them do that one. See, now we keep our eye on all of these, looking at the possibilities. See, this was not that old as a chart, say just in November 6, where I was saying like, okay, this is an opportunity. This is going to go higher because we broke higher, retested and bounced. So that's fella, or soul as we call. And you come here and you look at that, we already hit our first target. Now we are moving towards the next, right? So yes, if you are in this market, you see a ton of opportunity. Now this one is in December 14th, right? And at that point, you need to understand the price is going lower, and everyone and their mom will be saying it's bearish. But at that point we were saying this. Slowing down, we are consolidating now near the low. So if you want to buy, that's the good area where you buy low and sell high to make profit, right? Now you go look at that. Yes, this was that point after that low, and now you're already moving up with a higher high and another higher high, trending higher. So yes, technicals do give you that ability. So now what about other assets, the big assets, the large cap assets, or at least the medium cap assets, which you are mostly in? The risk level there is much lower because they have higher volume. So now we are going to discuss through first, say, Bitcoin, then come on to XRP and detail what we actually see. Because if you wish the price goes up, that's okay. But if you want the price to go up, both are different. One, you're just like, okay, I wish this happens, but you're not sure about that. But the other stuff, you're looking through the charts and you're like, okay, what's the possibility? Is it really going to do that? And then you look at the entire altcoin market and you look like, okay, is this going down? Are we breaking higher? What's the possibility? So let's go through that. Yes, we all want regulatory clarity, because as XRP is with this SEC issue, people in US, those who are locked up in Coinbase and all, they can't even touch their units. What if we are going high? Those people would like XRP to go higher once we have the regulatory clarity, because that's the only way they are going to have access to the gains. Otherwise, they will see the price going up, then it's correcting back down. So you get that point. Now, if you are in different exchanges, you want the price to go up as soon as possible. Now, when we are getting this death cross kind of stuff, where this is on a daily. You are looking at the 50 and 200 day moving average. Now the 50 is crossing 200 to the downside, which we call death cross. But if you're looking at XRP, recent cross was here, 2021 July. We were crossing to the downside with even bigger momentum to the downside. But by that time we crossed, we already made that bottom. Look at the MACD at that point. You were looking like, okay, I'm going to cross to the downside. But in reality, we didn't actually do that. We didn't cross to the downside. We bounced. The price continued higher. It rallied all the way from that 0.5 to the top of 0.42, right? So here you are looking at something similar. MACD is crossing to the downside here, but it hasn't actually bounced too down. It's still staying there. Whereas the moving averages with the price is showing it's crossing to the downside, but the price is consolidating. It's not going too low. RSI at the moment is showing you a correction. We can call it like a corrective channel where you are still inside that parallel lines. But as you break, that's when you're going to get more momentum. So if you are looking at this, yes, you do have a possibility here that you are going to make something similar and then continue upwards. So last time it was from 0.5 to 1.4, kind of 3 times. So if you are looking at the current point, that's towards 2.4, 2.5. So our recent high in this cycle was like $2. So if you're able to move above that, that's bringing a new momentum. Now, why in the general market we are going to see those in the large cap coins? Because here, this is Bitcoin chart. If you are looking at the RSI, you can literally see we are making a rounded bottom in which we have this support zone from which we are bouncing from right now. So as you bounce through this range, it is important to note that what the price is doing. Because 200-day moving average, this blue line here, you're just below that. So it is important for you to actually break above this and continue higher. At least, say for example, you're breaking this one here. That's all good. That's all great. But after a little bit of correction, you need to actually go towards this. At least first you go towards this range, say $50,000, somewhere close to that. Then, yeah, most probably you're going to get a retracement for that. And then you're going to bounce higher. And that bounce should be able to test the moving average. Say by that time the moving average comes somewhere here, and if you're able to break that, yes, you're going to continue higher. So yes, you do have room to the upside. You know, the previous resistance range, heavy resistance range, is from 65,000 towards 69,000. So if you're able to break this one, yes, you are going to look at those ranges. I don't know what others say, what others do, but that is a possibility based on the charts. Now, that's on a daily chart of Bitcoin. You take a step back, you look at this on a weekly, and you're still holding the 50-day moving average. This is the first range. Call it wave 1. Then you had a blast off. Call this wave 2. You are still going to have a wave 3. Now, whether you like it or not, you are going to go higher. But right now, yes, you are getting a divergence in the RSI and the MACD when the price is going higher. Now, what I want to give you as a clue here is go back to this one, the previous wave 1 corrective area, where you're going to have something similar. Say you are looking at the price, it is correcting, then at this particular point it's slowly grinding higher, but you did have divergence there. So you can't completely neglect that and say, okay, this is only going to go downside. But there is a possibility that we visit 40,000. We haven't done that yet, and I'm surprised because we came down towards 44 in some exchange, 43, but we didn't actually come down and touch this 40,000 range because that was the mid range which we should have hit. Now, with the moving average supporting the price at this range, we don't know whether it's going to do that, but that is still a possibility. So when BTC drops to 40,000, if it drops, the BTC dominance will be moving even lower. Why? Because right now we see a lot of coins moving higher, small to medium cap doing well, pretty well. So at this point, if you are breaking below that 40% mark, which we have been staying there from some time, if you take this line and extend this, you're like, okay, fine. We are staying here from May and we are still there. We had a wick lower. Now we didn't actually broke below, we didn't continue rallying down, but we had this idea that we are going to go downside. because this is a continuation pattern where your momentum is to the downside. So when your momentum is to the downside, what you usually do, you bounce a bit, you consolidate there and then go lower. Now to validate that, you can look at your MACD. What is it doing? It is slowly crossing to the downside. Now we don't know whether it's going to cross and bounce or it's going to go lower. We need to actually look at that too. So you can simply, you go on to the MACD, where you make your MACD like this. You just enlarge it, and once you do that, with this ability of technical analysis, you can look at connecting the tops, connecting the bottoms, and you're like, okay, this looks like an area where we are consolidating. So if we cross to the downside, yes, we do have room to the downside, but we do have a little bit room to bounce to the upside too, right? So that can be after the downside, right? So once you bounce, you go up, hit this resistance, you may go down. So don't rule out that possibility of Bitcoin dominance going higher and then coming back down, or at least staying here and the momentum going up and then going back down. What does that mean? The Bitcoin, as we talked about, the price in Bitcoin can actually move higher a little bit and then come back down to that 40,000 range. Now at that time, if you're looking at the altcoin market cap, which has been performing like what we thought previously, like the correction coming back to the all-time highs, consolidating there to 70 days and then starting to grind up, by 360 days we are breaking to the new highs. So now you're coming here, you're looking like 260 days, you are testing this, fine, you need to break higher, you need to continue higher. But at the same time, if you are looking at the same stuff which people say, you are having a higher high here, great, but at the same time you are seeing a lower high in the MACD, so you're getting a divergence. Are you going to go down? Up? It's completely up to you. You can decide your own. But if it's me looking at this, I would say, okay, this is the trend line. Now I'll explain it. You just zoom in on that one. Look at this clearly. You had two tops here, which is somewhat close to here. Then you're trying to connect another top here, which is this one, and you're extending. So more or less, I personally see it like this. You actually came lower, I agree, so this won't be clean. Now you look at this one, and then you look at this, the two, and then the third one here. So it looks like inverse head and shoulder in an inclined manner, but you still broke higher here. Great, you came back, you retested, you're slowly bouncing. Now we need a bounce, and this bounce can be a double bottom. So what do I mean? This is the area where you are at, and if you bounce from here, it can be a textbook double bottom, right? Once you get that double bottom, you can slowly continue higher. Now that's in your RSI. So when you go back to the price and observe it, when you get that bounce here, MACD should be going higher. It's not in the negative territory, it's in the positive territory. So you're still bullish, you're not going bearish, right? What does bear market look like? You're coming down, you're entering into the negative territory, then you go down, down, down. So that is what you really don't want to see. But whereas when you are in the positive territory and you consolidate long enough, yes, you do have a possibility that you're going to go to the upside. So that is why we as XRP investors look at the chart, and if you're looking at the medium to long term chart of XRP, you observe, and you are like, okay, we do have a long-term base which we have made. Now from that base, we have been traveling to the upside. Now we all know this is just repeating. Why? Because we are inside this pattern. Those who have followed this already understand when we were coming through this pattern, even here, we talked about this pattern, why it's valid. Now it is still valid. Now, yes, you bounce, you come back down to that. You bounce, you come back down to that. Now, yeah, you need to bounce. So the next bounce, when you go up to $5, $6, $8, all those numbers, it looks fancy right now. But when we reach there, that's when you realize, no, that was not just a fancy number. It is the value being matched with the price. So if you understand the value of this particular asset, that is something which you read. Read through all the updates and get back. But one thing which I want to share you guys is with this tweet from Patrick Bet-David. You look at this. This is a new year which you're starting. This is not advice. This is not motivation. This is not inspiration. This is just giving you an idea. It's all up to you whether you want to stand up for your life. Say you want to invest. Great. What are you really going to do? If people say, okay, I've invested all my money in, I'm all in, I don't have cash flow. Everyone has 24 hours in their life. Try to find 2 or 3 hours and do something which you know as your extracurricular activity, which can bring you cash flow. It can be singing, it can be drawing, it can be anything. If you can provide value to others, that's value slowly coming back to you. Now use this to reinvest. You can do 3-4 stuff at a time if you can manage your time properly. Everyone has 6 hours of sleep, great. Everyone has that 24 hours window, right? If you listen to Arnold, he was stating this. Now understand, Arnold is a guy who works out with body, it's physical, right? All those stress, he sleeps 6 hours, and if you listen to his speech, he gives you one idea. If you want to sleep more, great, cool, just sleep fast. But still, use only 6 hours, because that 18 hours of your life, that's going to decide what you're going to be in the future. So if you want to be an investor, that's your aim, and you want to regularly keep investing, you need to create cash flow. You need to do whatever it takes. It can be 1 thing, 2, 3, 4, it depends on your ability. But when you come back and see this market pumping, even if you have $500 extra to put into small coins, that is going to be worth it. Because when you look at the negative stuff, say you're looking at some coins which are doing negative, you can still go look there whether there is an opportunity. It's down. Say for example, this is down on a short-term basis, but this is green on the medium-term basis, say even a 7 days. So even if you are a trader, you see opportunities. So make sure you take the right decision. If you want to get updates for these kind of updates, so you are getting these to make these kind of gains, right? You're getting these call as opportunities, saying there is steady accumulation going, and that's coming into the price, right? So once you understand what's happening in the chart, once you understand what the indicators are showing you, you can really make profits. And that's one of the reasons why we keep posting charts, updating throughout the days. Whenever you get the chart updates, you are able to now look at the ability for you to make money if you have dry powder, if you have free cash. So make sure you do that regularly. Make sure you have 10% of dry powder at all times. And then you buy into these assets where there is a lot of opportunities. We post this regularly on the Patreon. And if you would like to join that, this is the best time of the year, best time of the month, starting new year with a new decision where you're going to look for next 2 years, next 3 years. But first, next quarter, then 6 months, 9 months from now. So if you are looking at that, ballooning your portfolio slowly, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. So guys, if you received value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button. That supports the channel a lot. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.